The river is waiting, sail on, sail on, sail on. My river's waiting, sail on.
I don't know about you, but that was so beautiful. It just makes, one of the things I said first service is that I could just listen to that and we could just then go, I know where some chocolate chip cookies are. And we could just listen to a great tune and great melodies and then go have coffee and chocolate chip cookies and Diet Coke. Actually, I said that I'd given up Diet Coke this morning early, and there was a big cheer from the first service people because they're so righteous. And then I said, but I've only done it for like 10 minutes. Anyway, so it's good to be in a church where it would be better for me to have a martini up here than to drink Diet Coke. I mean, some of you know what I mean, because you belong in the first service with the righteous ones. Anyway, well, what I love about this spiritual community is that really we don't judge until we do. I'm Kathianne Lewis, and you are at the Center for Spiritual Living. Ernest Holmes was asked once about what kind of church we were, and this is the best thing I've ever heard. I think I will find it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, he said that we are transcendental realists. Now, get your head around that. Transcendental, over and above everything, and yet it's very real. Can we make that which is the unseen, the ineffable, that thing that cannot be explained, can we make it real in our life? Moment to moment to moment. That's what we are doing here at the Center for Spiritual Living. In fact, I realize that we are here and surrounded by people who want to make spirit more real in their life. They want to become spirit-centric. And I think the world is very matter-centric or mind-centric. But when you become spirit-centric, it includes everything else. So we're not just we don't deny the earth, we don't deny the material, we don't deny our wants and our needs, but we bring center into the middle of them and become more spirit-centric. So that's what I'm about, that's what we as an organization are about, and that's where you showed up, and there's other people like you here, because it's a nice day. It's a very nice day. And there's a lot of people outside. And spirit is everywhere, and so it's outside, but sometimes it's good to remember how to recognize that spirit. I had this interesting conversation with a group of women yesterday around my kitchen table, and we were discussing original art. And it began with a conversation about seeing some original art at the Tacoma Art Museum and how that person had seen that particular artist's works before in posters and in books, but it wasn't the same as seeing the original. The original has a tendency to take your breath away. And then I recalled seeing the David. I mean, you don't even say a statue of David. You say the David. I saw the David up front and personal in Italy. And I was amazed that all I wanted to do was stare at it, like everyone else, just sitting around looking at it, gawking. And yet I saw what is supposedly a duplicate, an exact copy in Caesar's Palace. Yes, I do. I have a lot of interests. And but it wasn't the same thing. It was not the same thing. It did not have that spirit. And so when we discover what's unique about us and we discover our spirit, we will shine like the David shines and like an original work of art. Because something that the artist did, something in them allowed their spirit to be shared with their creation. And God shares its spirit with its creation, and we are that creation. That's what this spiritual center is about. Not so much rules, but an opportunity to find a way to shine. So thank you for being here today. And because, let's just allow our light to shine. And I was thinking, especially in a city that is one of the most unchurched cities in the United States, What if we made God popular again? And if you gag on the word popular, popular. That's what was me, Freudian slip. If you gag on the word God, we'll call it something else. But let's make Spirit popular again. So sign in if you've got a smartphone. Let people know where you are. That would be wonderful. And if you have not filled out a connection card yet, I invite you to do so. Please fill out a connection card. It looks like this. There's a lot going on in this community. A lot happens besides what happens on Sunday. So I encourage you to let us know your email address so that we can just email you with information, because it's much more than I can talk about or we could talk about in a given day. So return the connection card if you haven't already done so to me or someone with a name tag, or take it to the welcome table after the service is over. And now I love this new part of our service. In days and years past, we would celebrate birthdays, and we're still going to do so. So anyone having a birthday, please stand up. Birthday, birthday, birthday. Yay! Look who's here from Portland. This is exciting. Birthday? Dorothy Dubia, yay! Great birthdays, I love it. Donald wanted to be recognized, so he actually hunted the usher down. Give me my birthday. Celebration card, gift, whatever. But we've expanded the birthday celebration to just the celebrations of everything. So, who has a celebration that they would like to share with any of us and all of us? Who has something really great going on that they want to tell us about? All right.
I'm moving this summer to a house, and my daughter will have a bedroom.
Yes! Yay! How fabulous. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for all of us. Thank you very much. Okay, who else has a great celebration? All right. Okay, so speak it out loud and I'll just repeat it. Lynn?
I have a new little granddaughter, and actually 2 new little granddaughters in the last 3 months.
2 granddaughters in the last 3 months. And yes, this is good. Good. Yes. Lisa, stand up.
I have a new job, and it fulfills me.
Yay! Fulfilling job. No more bad jobs. In with the good jobs. Yes, great. Okay, yes, Nortano.
I have been successfully been treated for hepatitis C.
Successfully treated for hepatitis C. One more disease bites the dust. Praise God. One more person raises up in health. So for all of you that have a health issue, let his victory be your victory. Because God doesn't play favorites. Thank you so much for sharing that, Nartano. Okay, right over here. What's up?
I just graduated middle school.
Graduation for middle school! Woo! Yes! All right, yes.
My daughter graduated from college.
And a daughter graduates from college. Woo! Yes.
I just gave my first TED Talk 2 weeks ago in Atlanta.
Yay! Woo! Woo! Yes.
My mom's visiting from California, and we're celebrating my niece's graduation.
Okay, mom and niece all together. Yes. This is good. I love it. What else? I don't know, Lisa. I think God said only so much good in 1 week, but go ahead.
My daughter graduated from high school.
Yes, good. Good, good, good. So I want you to just oh, yes, Haida.
I just celebrated my 54th anniversary of coming to the United States.
I love that. What a great celebration. How lovely. So I would just want you to listen to how you listen, because sometimes we listen to good news and we say, oh, isn't it great for them? But the more we continue on our spiritual path, the more we know that there's one life, and then we say, isn't this great for us? Because every victory is a victory. And that also means we have to become compassionate, because everybody's trial is part of ours. So we become more compassionate, and yet we become more celebratory. Life just becomes richer the more we include everyone in it. So yay for us. So if you're still thinking them, that's great. Let's try thinking us. Let's just close our eyes and become still. And take a deep breath. And continue to breathe deeply, moving into that space that is called your heart. And the heart can expand and expand and expand. With each breath, what you call your heart can expand far beyond your body and into this room and reveal to you connections you knew not of. So let's sit in that just a moment. Let's breathe and expand our heart. And then we'll hear beautiful music. And then we'll listen to a beautiful prayer by Reverend John Hollis.
In the stillness, in that stillness deep within ourselves, in that deep stillness of our soul, there is a profound peace. There's a profound power, a profound grace that is alive and calling us forth to be that magnificent expression of the beloved that we are. It rests in the stillness within us. And so this day we turn to that stillness, to that peace, to that grace, to that power, and we allow it to open us up and reveal to us the magnificence that we are, the magnificence of this community, and the magnificence of the world. We begin in the stillness, and the magnificence is born, and so it is.
I love you. I really love you, man. I love the music. I love the person. It's good. So let me ask you, I need to get you on board here because I need to get you on board. How many of you would like to be more satisfied with your life? I should see some hands. Because you could, even if you're satisfied, you can be more. I mean, like God doesn't say, only so much satisfaction. Yeah, you're like a spoonful of sugar, a spoonful of satisfaction. That's enough. No, so there is no end to the amount of fulfillment and satisfaction that you can have because there's no end to the amount of a spiritual realization that you can have. So for those that would like to be more satisfied, this talk is for you. And it's not the same as enjoy. There are some times that I have been deeply satisfied but not necessarily enjoyed it. There are actually two things. And I want to enjoy things, but I also seek satisfaction. I think sometimes we lump everything together and we think everything's got to be the same. That's called mush. And so I need to make some distinctions there. The way I want to get started with my explanation of satisfaction is that I want to start with a movie that I saw many, many years ago that it made an impression on me. I don't know that I'm remembering it correctly. So if I'm not remembering it correctly, don't correct me. Because frankly, this version works for me. The thing I tell myself works. So please let me just think of it this way, okay? So the movie was The Accidental Tourist. And the accidental tourist accidentally started touring and traveling, and accidentally then as a journalist became someone that wrote about different destinations. And then he accidentally fell into an affair because he'd accidentally gotten married before, and he accidentally stayed married, and then he accidentally had this woman who said, you've got to make a choice. And so he actually had to stop living accidentally. Now, I sometimes say this at the beginning of the year when I say you either live with an intention or you live accidentally. Now, but an intention is something that you're moving towards. I think you can also live not so much accidentally as, another word you could also say is purposefully. What are you doing purposefully? And when you live purposefully, it's more satisfying than living accidentally. And so whether you saw the movie or you don't even remember it that way and you're going, how did you get that? How many of you have ever experienced coming to the end of your week? Because we all have different weeks. My week ends on Wednesday night. When you come to the end of your week, how many of you notice that the week went by and you're not really sure what you even did? And it feels kind of dry, like cereal without milk. There's probably some substance to it, but it's dry and crunchy. If that's your experience, perhaps what you want is more satisfaction. And satisfaction can happen anytime and should happen anytime. So I want to talk about 3 levels of satisfaction and kind of work into so I can work into the gist of it and then move you into what I think will really shift your life. So we'll just talk in generalities with the first level of this whole idea of satisfaction and purpose. Purpose is always about why. Why? The talk title is, the question of why. When you know why you want to do something, you know the purpose for doing that thing. It's really helpful. It's helpful if you want to throw a party to know why you want to throw the party. It's helpful if you take a class to know why you want to take a class. Although I'm not against accidental classes. How many of you have accidentally signed up for Beyond Limits and it still turned out okay? You signed up because the person in front of you was signing up or the person next to you was signing up and you were saying, okay, let's take Beyond Limits. Right, fine. Well, accidental things are not bad. I'm not against them, but it's more fulfilling to have a purpose. If you're going to take a dance class, why? For what purpose? If you're taking a dance class to meet people and you dance by yourself, you will not feel fulfilled at the end of that dance class. How many of you have actually woke up to the fact that you're doing things for a totally different reason than what you thought you were doing it for? And then, therefore, it's not fulfilling. So ask yourself, why? For what purpose am I doing this? Then you can arrange your thoughts and your actions and your support to be in alignment with that purpose or that why. There's a bunch of people that I really love, and it's a big month for them because they finished a class called practitioner class, learning to be a prayer practitioner. They finished that class, and they took their written exams. Now, most of them, if not all of them, will license to become a prayer practitioner. But even though they have a similar title, and they will share similar duties, their purpose for doing that will all be individual. And if they are not on purpose, it will begin to feel dry and unfulfilling. That's why it's good to know why. Why am I doing this? What calls me? What doesn't call me? In anything. If you want a relationship, ask yourself why. Because you could get a relationship and it won't be fulfilling because it doesn't fulfill the why. How many of you have been there? if you ask or you are receptive to a job, know what the purpose of going to a job is. Because if you have a job and it doesn't fulfill your purpose, it will not be fulfilling. If you're going to retire, what's your purpose in retirement? If you don't know, then look deep. Because you can arrange things to support that purpose. I'm saying this because the next thing comes about, the next phase, which is after you begin new things with asking, what's my purpose? Why am I doing this? For instance, Haida moved to the United States. She had a why, and she may have to remind herself every once in a while about that. Maybe, of course, not our country, but... And I say that because that's the next step. When you feel out of alignment, when things start to hurt and are uncomfortable, go back to your original why. What was my purpose in doing this? I say that because I have to ask that all the time. Why am I continuing to be a minister? Why am I living in the country? Now, I had a group of people over to my ranchette yesterday, and it was a great day. It wasn't too hot. There was a gentle breeze. Our neighbors were not exploding bombs next door. I don't know what they do, but it's in the country, so they got 5 acres. They can explode all sorts of things, and they do. And it's getting close to the 4th of July, so usually they go into practice about now. And then we don't have lawnmowers. No. No one has a lawnmower out in the country. They have tractors. And they make more noise than lawnmowers. And then there's all sorts of... It was a quiet day yesterday. But sometimes I have to remind myself why I'm there, especially when I want to get milk. And it's 20 minutes away. I have to remind myself, what was my purpose in doing this? So that I know that, oh, guess what? I'm fulfilling that purpose. And when I realize that, I'm back in alignment. See, we get out of alignment when we say we want to do a thing for a certain reason, and then we forget that reason and we don't support that reason or celebrate that reason. I wanted to be in a place that was quiet. I wanted a place where I could be by myself. Nobody drives 45 minutes to see me very often. I wanted a place where my preferred mode of exercise was right out the door. See, but if I make up other stuff like, oh, I don't get to go to the theater as much, and it's a hassle to go to the grocery store, do you see how that begins to hurt? And I forgot the why. The why. I think we do that all the time. We make a commitment, we go to a city, we move to a new neighborhood, we form some sort of relationship, whether it's an intimate relationship or not, and then we don't support that purpose and that why, and it falls apart, and we go, I don't like this. And then it's unfulfilling, it's not satisfying, because we're not supporting that why. I have to do this a lot with this thing called ministry, because I can be asked to do a lot of things. And some satisfy me and some don't. And if I am not doing the things that are more satisfying than I'm doing the things that aren't satisfying, then I can go, It's just human nature. But we get to choose and focus and not be accidental. I think if people kept their vows when they got married, because that's the purpose of them marrying, and they focused on those vows and they kept on it, there would be far less divorce, because I think divorce is when relationships become accidental. Well, this happened, and then that happened, and then this happened. Stuff happens. It snows. It rains. Stuff happens. We have flies. I know it's too much information. Oh, you with me with purpose? Okay, that's at the human level. That's at the mind level. And I had to talk about this because the mind needs to be recognized and celebrated because the mind thinks. And the mind wants to know how to use the mind more effectively. But I want to go a little bit deeper than that. I want to talk about a greater purpose, the purpose you came here for. I want to talk about why you incarnated, why the universe invested itself in you, why you are so important to the grand scheme of things, because you are important. And if you don't think you're important, then perhaps the purpose for you being here is to find out that you are. The grand why that you're here today, besides the fact that we have air conditioning. I recently read that biologically, 99% of our DNA is like everyone else. 99%. You think you're special? Nah. You're mostly like everybody else. You function like most human beings, except for 1%. And it's that 1% that makes you unique and different and gives you a different eyescapes and fingerprints and voice prints, and it's that 1% that can identify you as being totally different than someone else. And the same thing happens with our soul. We are 99% all the same. We all want the same thing. We all breathe. We all eat. Anybody have given that up? Let me know. We all need water. We need shelter. And when we've taken care of those needs, we want to be known. We want to be recognized. We want to be loved. Everybody want that? You want good for the people that you love? I mean, isn't that true? It's all the same except for that 1%. There's 1% of you that is a part of you that is so totally different than everybody else, and that is where you find your divine purpose. Now, before I go into this divine purpose, I want to say that the way we think of purpose and satisfaction is different than the way God thinks about it. In the New Testament, it says that God will confound the wise. And see, a lot of our wisdom will not get us satisfaction. The way the world thinks is that we are satisfied by having more and doing more. Isn't that true? I mean, if it wasn't true, then our nation wouldn't be in debt like the way it is. And we wouldn't have become so competitive instead of compassionate. And we wouldn't work at jobs that are tasteless just so that we could have more stuff. We do this because we think that we are what we have and we are what we accomplish. And that's not the way the universe thinks. So I was going to leave it there and fill in someplace else, because what I want you to do is to know your divine purpose for being here. Your divine purpose for being here is more about what you express than what you do. And that's a hard one to grasp. But it's about expression, not doing. And so I asked Spirit last night, what else can I talk about? Can't we just leave them with the assignment and then carry on next week? And Spirit said, no. And that's because your purpose is, I know this purpose, and it is what I do. I am with people, and I expect a great awareness to be born within them. What I do is I show up and expect awareness. I expect that something will come out of you that will save you, that will free you, And if you're not bound up, I expect that it will give you a platform to do greater things than you can even imagine. I expect that that is within you. And like a midwife, I just wait for it to be born. And while you're complaining, I say, breathe. It happened just first service. So, let's turn things upside down and realize that it is not about us. Our purpose is not about us. It's not about a great achievement. It's really about living from that 1% of our unique essence and giving that back into the world. You'll notice that a lot of trees are up, and you're going to see a lot of trees. Trees are really inspiring me and teaching me right now. And what I realize about a tree is that they take moisture and minerals from the ground, they take them into themselves, and then they take carbon dioxide from the air, and they mix all of that around, and then they give us oxygen so that we can breathe, and humidity out into the air. So everything is being recycled. They are there to take in what's available and give it out again. They are not competing for the most acorns. Oh, have you seen my acorns? And someone else saying, the number of nests I have in my branches. Amazing. They're not competing. They're just sharing of what they are. And we take in the very essence of Spirit because Spirit made us. There is something special, just like David could be special because its creator was special, so too is all of creation special because God gives it a sense of its essence. So we take that essence in and we give it out. And that might be, let's just suggest, my suggestion is that that's our purpose. Our purpose is to be on purpose every day by sharing who we are. So in a very short period of time, not 9 months, not 4 weeks, but in 15 minutes, you're going to know your essence. So take a piece of paper or not. If you don't want to take notes, if you just want to listen, that's great. You can listen to it on this service on YouTube later. But I'm going to ask you questions, and I'd like you to answer them very quickly so that you are not being logical. I want you to listen to your gut, and if you want to activate your gut, then hold your gut. I want you to put on paper or on your iPad or your smartphone. I want you to put something down, the first thing that comes to you. Knowing that in this short period of time, we can have just as large a revelation as Jesus had after 40 days. I mean, actually, time is speeding up. Why should we take 40 days anyway? I mean, Jesus came up with his purpose. I have come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Take 40 days. But we live at a much faster pace than Jesus did. So, here's the first question. Write it down, the answer very quickly. What quality do you most admire in others? Write that down. Next question, write it very quickly. What quality of the divine, or you call it God, Jehovah, Krishna, whatever you call that which is greater than yourself, what quality do you worship? See, there's something about this greater yet to be that we love. What is the quality that you love most about that thing that's greater than yourself? Could be love or truth or creativity or expansiveness. What is that? Next question. When you liked yourself the most, let that come back. Right now, see yourself when you liked yourself the most. In all of your life, there was a time when you liked yourself the most. See that? Recall that? What quality were you expressing? Write that down. The quality you were expressing when you liked yourself the most. Okay, back to the first question. The quality that you admire in others. Everybody have who has a quality that you admire in others? Raise your hands. Be that. The quality of the divine that you worship? Be that. The quality that you expressed when you liked yourself the most? Be that again. So we are called at every moment to be that, no matter what's going on. So there are certain qualities that I am supposed to hold, which is to hold that everyone has their own answer all the time, even when people say they don't. My job is not to buy in to the fact, to an idea that God's not present in them. I am to hold that all the time. I feel good about myself when I hold that, which means that I should be doing that more than some other things. Does this make sense? So, what 3 qualities did you come up with? Who'd like to share their 3 qualities? Okay, what are your 3 qualities? No, I need a handheld mic. Great, good.
Honesty, compassion, and acceptance.
Okay, so through the day, can you see yourself being honest, compassionate, and accepting?
Yes.
And are you challenged sometimes?
Yes.
And guess what? That's why you are. How could you really bring those things out if you weren't being challenged to do so? Really?
Right.
I mean, think about it. Why do people that play tennis have a net? Because you got to get it over the net. What fun would it be to, like, I'll throw the ball to you, you throw the ball to me. How fun. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is good. I mean, would we pay people millions of dollars to sit and, like, walk around, look great with a football? Don't we put, like, time restraints on it? Don't we, like, count the yards? And then don't we give them challenges? Like, oh, you're only supposed to go from here to there. Piece of cake, except for the really big guys that say you're not going to. So doesn't it really make you feel great when you had one of those days and you were
honest, compassionate, and accepting?
Isn't it satisfying? It's not satisfying if you just sit on your bed and I'm so accepting. Look at me. But when somebody's in your face and you find something taking over in you and you can accept their behavior in a compassionate way, don't you feel good about yourself? I got a letter from someone recently who said, oh, you know, it was one of those family things. Who's ever had one? And she had the opportunity to be really, really, really let down by a family member. And she wrote me a letter because she said, you know what? Something in me chose love instead. It was a satisfying day. It was so satisfying she had to write about it. We don't write about or feel good about the days that we come down and say, well, you know what? It was her fault. Do we feel good? No. But when you can be what you're called to be in the midst of the obstacles, with the lineman coming at you, then you're satisfied, because it is, we will not live a life without challenge. No, there is not a spiritual tradition on earth that's going to say you can live a life without challenge. You find one, you tell me about it. I may convert. There isn't one, but it does tell us who to be when we're challenged, and that grows us. And we feel satisfied because we've given out something marvelous. Okay, who's next? Who else wants to share their 3 qualities? Okay, well, then you. All right.
Courage, grace, and loving enthusiasm.
Great. Courage, grace, and loving enthusiasm. So can I talk about you?
Please.
Yes. So sometimes as a project manager, it's hard to do, isn't it? All three. But isn't that like, wouldn't it be fun if projects were managed with those qualities? Like maybe you put yourself in that job so that you could be that and you'd share it with your whole staff. It would change everything, wouldn't it? He said yes. Yes, we're going to change the world. Yes, go ahead. Yes?
Courage, grace, and trust.
Well, courage, grace, and trust. So, I think you're very courageous. I've seen some of the things you did. Courageous. What's the hard part?
Following it up with action.
Yeah, so it's courageous when you begin. Yeah, courage and yeah.
And trusting yourself.
Yeah, and yourself, yeah. But you loved yourself when you trusted yourself.
Yes.
So, when you are given a new opportunity, what are you to be?
Courageous, graceful, and trusting.
How many of you have ever woke up in the morning and said, I just wish God would give me a sign and tell me what I'm supposed to do? Guess what? It just happened. It just happened. Are you okay? You're going to live through this? Okay, don't sit with her ever again. Okay. Anyone over here want to share? Okay.
Thank you for this. Unconditional love, unlimited expansiveness, and healing teaching.
Great. So that's what you're called to do when you ask yourself, what am I doing today? Because it really narrows the playing field. Because in every sport, somebody's got a specialty. And your specialty is what that is. That's your 1%. My 1% is to be the place where truth shows up in such a way that people are healed and freed of their addiction to littleness. Addiction to littleness. Because when we're not playing full out, we're just playing little. Because we don't know who we are. So let's do a closing prayer. Thank you all for sharing. Very gracious of you. Let's give a round of applause to everybody that was brave enough. And you have your assignment, your purpose. It will not be perhaps the same as being called to have a family or the purpose of being called to reorganize your a place at work or being called to be of service to the world. That's a different kind of calling. In fact, actually, there's a book for that. It's called Callings. It's the book of the month. I should show it to you. I will later. But this is what is my daily assignment. And the more you do those 3 things, the more satisfied you will be. Jesus knew what he was. He said, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. I am it, I'm it. You are compassion, you are love, you are courage, you are grace. You are enthusiasm, you are expansiveness. You are those things that you put on that paper. And to live from that means that you will give your gift to the world. And the world will be blessed by it. And you will feel satisfaction. And so I bless each person here, and I bless what they wrote down. I bless their courage to see, to comprehend, and to take in this new assignment. I'm grateful that we're waking up to our divine purpose. And in so doing, windows and doors and gateways are opening. And the light is shining through us and out into the world. And yet the light never really escapes, because the more we share, the more we have. I am so grateful for this congregation, for this group of people, for this willingness to perceive the glory within. Thank you, sweet Spirit, for bringing us here this day and allowing us to get closer to our why, our purpose, and giving us a collective permission to live from that. And for this I do give thanks, and so it is. Great day. Okay, you got a program when you came in, and there's a lot of drop-in groups. How about saying drop-in groups? Drop-in groups today, Compassionate Through Loss, all that's on here. Also, big deal, every 6 to 8 weeks we have spiritual tune-ups. So if you would like support with one of our prayer practitioners, they will listen to you, turn all of your concerns into a prayer and pray with you. Those are available in the sanctuary. You need to show up and sign up, and they'll find a wonderful person to work with you through those doors and to your right. Thank you. Thank you. My husband does that too. He just follows my finger because I'm always saying left, turn left, no, turn right. Anyway, so it's a dyslexic thing. Anyway, lots of information on here, great information, Connection Circles information about that in the celebration hall. And you can sign up early for the wealth ministry. One of the big celebrations was just after first service is a great celebration. I'm not going to get into it, but actually it comes out of a group of people who really want to not only elevate their acceptance of God's support, but have it be that way for everyone. So if that works for you, if you really want the world to work for everyone, the wealth ministry at 7 o'clock on Sundays. Yay! I know it's like all of you are going, yeah, whoopee. Can I get that crib sheet later? Anyway. So anyway, that's all happening. Good things here. Great information. And while the ushers are coming up, I want to say there's two things you might be considering really quickly. One is if you have thought about traveling with CSL, our next trip that's available is Egypt. They always sell out. So if you're thinking about it, do it early, because there's people on a waiting list for Peru because it just takes a while. I mean, we fill up. And the other one is if you're thinking about Inward Journey and you know who you are, sign up, because we're making a decision whether we're going to have that class in June. So by July, we'll have to make that decision. So let's just take a deep breath. Lots of information. Download, download, download. And I know you can take it all in and just assimilate it and take what's yours and leave the rest. But for right now, think of yourself as a beautiful part of nature, which is a tree. And you have taken in today. You have absorbed today. Everything with the music and the message was freely given. And now it's your opportunity to freely give back. Because circulation is natural. It is the way things work. And check inside, because you know that's true. As you give, you support that which gives to you. It keeps things healthy. And so I give thanks for your gift. I give thanks for your support for the health of this community. I'm grateful to each and every person here. And so it is.
Oh, Namakangawe. Oh, Namakangawe. Yeah.